Hi, everybody. I'm so glad to be here today and to be able to share some words of Torah before Shabbat. I hope and pray that eventually we'll be able to be together in person in our beloved Beit Knesset. This week's Parsha is Parashat Chukat Balak. It's actually a double Parsha. And we meet Bnei Yisrael really at a pivotal time in their story and journey from Yetziat Mitzrayim. We're really at the conclusion of the 40 years of wandering. At the beginning of the Parsha in Chukat, Miriam passes away. Moshe and Aaron commit the chait that they do at the rock, where they find out that they actually will not be allowed to go into Eretz Yisrael. And then we have actually Aaron HaKohen pass away as well. Then we get to Perek Chav Aleph. And Perek Chav Aleph really takes Bnei Yisrael basically out of the Midbar. For the first time, they're actually going to encounter, other than the battle that they had with Amalek in the Midbar, other nations in basically settled land, inhabitable places and cities. And they're no longer sort of stranded and alone in the Midbar. And this really begins the process of the beginning of entering Eretz Yisrael. And so we see what happens here is that they have three battles in Perek Chav Aleph. The first battle is with one of the kings of Canaan, the king of Arad. And what's interesting is before they go into battle, Bnei Israel basically make a bargain with Hashem. And they say to Hashem, if you deliver us in this battle, we will make sure that anything that we capture will be dedicated to you. And sure enough, Bnei Israel are actually successful and they win that battle. The second battle that they have is with Sichon, Melech HaAmori, right, one of the Amorite kings. And here they don't make a bargain with Hashem, but they try to, say to Sichon, will you let us pass through your land? We promise we won't take any water, any food. We just want to be able to have safe passage. And Sichon, as we know, famously says no. They go to battle, and yet they are very successful. Then we get to the third battle, which is with Og Melech HaBashan. And what's interesting here is that before they go into battle, Hashem says something very peculiar to Moshe that doesn't really make sense based on what happened with the two previous battles that took place. And this is Perek Chav Aleph Pasuk Lamed Gimel, which reads as follows: Vayomer Hashem el Moshe al tira oto ki biyadcha natati oto v'et kol hamo v'et arto v'asita lo kasher asita l'sichon melech ha'amori asher yoshev b'cheshbon. Hashem says to Moshe, don't fear him, al tira oto, for I will give him and all his people and his land into your hand, and you shall do to him as you did to Sichon. So this is very, very interesting because, first of all, we don't see Moshe actually articulate that he's scared. So, it's interesting to see that Hashem sort of, and we understand why, that God knows what's in man's heart. But also, why would Moshe be fearful? He was successful leading Bnei Israel into two battles beforehand. Why was there a concern that all of a sudden with the battle with Og, they would not be successful and not have a successful campaign? And so the answer to this is actually a very interesting Gemara that's found in Masechet Nida and Daf Samach Aleph Amud Aleph, where the Gemara explains that the reason why Moshe was scared at this juncture is because Og had actually done a tremendous chesed for the Jewish people previously. And what was that chesed? Og was actually lived for a very long time, we say for over 500 years, and he is the one who told Abraham during the battle of the 4 and 5 kings in Bereshit that Lot was captured. And it's because of this information that he gave Abraham that Abraham was ultimately able to save Lot. And therefore, what Moshe was scared of is that zechut of helping Abraham, that Og actually deserved to win this battle and not Bnei Yisrael. And so therefore, Hashem comes and basically says to Moshe, don't be scared. Even though there's this zechut, even though Og did this thing for Abraham, for your forefather, you're still going to win this battle. I think this notion that Moshe has, this understanding about history, is a very, very Jewish understanding of history. We know that we often were commanded to do Zachor, to remember over various holidays, and every day we remember Yetziat Mitzrayim in Kriyat Shema. But I think what Moshe is teaching us is something about how we as Jewish people view history. We never live just in the present. We're always very aware of what has happened in the past, what good things did we do, what bad things did we do, and that whatever moment that we're actually in is really a time for reflection and to think about what am I actually deserving of at this moment, and where are areas that maybe that I could improve, right? And so therefore, when he's at this battle, faced with this battle with Og, he's thinking about what happened in previous history and realizes this person is not all bad, and Og did something for Abraham that maybe would allow him to actually win this battle. I think this message is very appropriate as we're about to begin the period of the 3 weeks. And the 3 weeks to me is really one of the times where we're most reflective on our history as a Jewish people, right? Shiva Asar B'Tammuz will be on Thursday, and until this time, which concludes with Tisha B'Av, really we sort of spend the time reflecting on what are our zuchuyot, what are the things that we have done as a nation that maybe led us to this moment where we were not so deserving of something, where we actually were deserving of the Chorban. And we know, for example, that the second Beit HaMikdash was destroyed because of our failure in Ben Adam L'Makom, right? Our failure in treating each other respectfully and with chesed. And so I would like I encourage all of us, and my bracha to all of us is to take this lesson that we learned from Moshe as Bnei Israel are about to engage in battle with Og, and to really think about that, yes, one of our jobs as Jewish people is to worry about history and to really think about history. And that we should all be blessed to use this time period of the 3 weeks to really reflect, on who we are and what our past has been as individuals, as a community here as part of TRM, and as a larger Jewish people. And how do we fit into the world itself? And what are things that we can do so that we do have the proper zchuyot and that we do always merit God's chesed. Shabbat Shalom.